He knew exactly what the score was. He knew that that ball was going to win the competition for him, and it's almost like he did it in dramatic fashion just to make it more fun.
He knew it when he let it go and was headed for the winner's circle.
He ain't took off his top yet.
Prime example right there. Danny Ainge just told you he knew that he was going to win it, and then Michael Jordan comes back and say he didn't even take off his top yet. That's all I got to say. I rest my case. Let's get it. We back. We got Larry Bird stories that prove the best trash talker ever. Look, I'm going to lie to y'all. I already know, honestly, Larry Bird is the best trash talker ever. So if you're new to this channel, you didn't know this, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and turn notification bells on. That way you can keep up with all the Larry Bird reactions that we drop on this channel. If you didn't know, it's your boy DtaeNoDinero with Dtae Reacts, best reaction channel in the nation. And I got a lot of Larry Bird reactions. So go to the channel, check out the playlist, and you'll be able to catch up on all the videos that I've already done in the past. I don't want to be the guy that had them long intros, and I say this all the time, but I really mean it. I don't want to have a long intro because, to be honest with y'all, I'm not the best talker anyways. I can talk good, but I ain't the best talker. So let's get to the video and see exactly what this video is about. You know what I mean? Let's get it.
Larry Bird was one of the biggest trash talkers in basketball. And a lot of people said, really? You know, they thought it was Reggie or Charles.
Bird used to tell me, look here, man.
You supposed to be a great defender, right? And I'm gonna make sure I tell you where I'm gonna shoot the ball at.
And he said, I'm gonna get it right here. I'm gonna shoot it right in your face.
And I'm looking at this guy like, he's nuts.
I'm gonna go shoot this motherfucking jumper in your face right there in that corner. And it's gonna be your Christmas present. I'm gonna wrap it up and bust your head open.
And that's exactly what he did.
If he tell you gonna hit a shot in a certain place, he gonna do just that, and ain't nothing you can do about it.
Been a better player each step I took. I was able to do a little bit more than the other guys. I had a green light. I could make plays, but I always knew early on, especially when I was a junior, senior high school, that probably the outcome of the game was going to depend on me.
That's what's up.
I interviewed Gary Payton, a venomous trash talker, and I asked him who the most vicious trash talker he's ever encountered. He said Larry Bird.
Oh, no question.
Bird talk shit like we talk.
Let me tell y'all something. Bird used to tell me, look here, man. I'm gonna go shoot this motherfucking jumper in your face right there in that corner. And it's gonna be your Christmas present. I'm gonna wrap it up and bust your head open. All that shit.
He told me, young fella, let me tell you something. I can shoot a jumper anywhere I want to. You supposed to be a great defender, right? I'm gonna make sure I tell you where I'm gonna shoot the ball at. And I was like, man, come on now, you're not gonna shoot the ball. And so he said, I'm gonna take you over in that corner right there. You see it over there by my bench, right? And I'm gonna give you something, and it's gonna be this jumper. So he went right to that corner, and I'm up on him, I'm under him. And he said, young fella, what did I tell you I was gonna do? And he turned around, raised up, and it was all drawn. And I said, shit, I ain't gonna mess with you no more.
He was the coldest dude I ever seen with that shit, man. Everybody be talking about these greats. They don't be always mentioning him. He was the shit.
Yeah.
The shit, man. He'll give it to you any way he wanted to. Larry Bird was cold.
Bird didn't talk trash to you,
Oh
did he?
my God, Bird talked trash to everybody. I always tell the story about Larry Bird. I remember him, he was cursing under his breath. And I asked him, I said, Larry, what's going on with you? He says, you guys are being disrespectful to me. And I says, what are you talking about? He says, you guys are putting a white guy on me. That's disrespectful. I just started laughing. I had no comeback when he says, it's disrespectful when y'all put a white guy on me.
Larry said, I'm insulted that they would put a sorry dude like you on me. He said, no, I don't even want to play no more. He would drop the ball and take a turnover. And I'm looking at this guy like, he's nuts, you know?
The story goes that when he played against Denver, they had a guy named John Hansley, a white guy, really good defender, right?
Okay.
They put him on Larry, and Larry was wearing his ass out.
Absolutely.
And Larry would run by the bench and tell Doug Moe, who was the coach, get him off me. That's disrespectful. Put a black guy on me. Because when he played back in the day, that's all he played against was brothers. So he was like, I had to torch his ass so they understand.
And Larry got on the roll, started shooting the ball. Every shot was going in. Right? He runs by Frank Layden, who's the funniest guy in the league. And Frank is coaching, and Larry says to him, hey, Frank, don't you have anybody on that bench that can guard me? He goes, so nobody out here can. Frank looked down at the bench and goes, no.
Along with Steve Jones and Rick Barry, this is Bob Neal. Just moments before the American Airlines Sheraton long-distance shootout.
The All-Star game is in Dallas, the first three-point contest, and he just starts looking at guys, doesn't say a word, and people are getting kind of nervous. Everybody's sitting there, everybody's real quiet. You knew the guys, but you never were around them. and nobody's really saying anything. So I walk in and look around, and then he finally speaks and says, I'm just looking to see who's going to finish second.
And says, I hope all you guys in here are thinking about second place because I'm winning this.
Excuse me?
Did you really say that? Who's playing for second?
Yeah, I did. I felt so bad.
What you walked in there? What were you thinking when you made that announcement to the room? Just messing with all those guys?
I know going into that, I remember in the locker room, Robert said something that there's no way in the hell I was going to win that 3-point contest. So I knew right then I had to win it.
That chick's had my name on it for a week now, and I knew I was going to win this thing. I've been practicing, and my teammates said I wasn't going to win it, but I came back and lucked out, really.
Bird would luck out again the next year, but in 1988, it looked like his luck had finally run out. He certainly doesn't have that normal Bird rhythm going for him. Seconds remaining, has only 7, has to beat 15. That's 8, make it 9, and 10, and 11 as we're counting. 13.
A huge rack that time for Bird.
He's still got to drop one here quickly. 14. This is a tie for the money. Yo!
Hey, real quick, I want to touch on something real quick. You know, I want to be the one the first to say it. This was the third time that Larry Bird, you know, had got that title with the 3-point contest. And at this point in time, he's already played in the league for, what, 4 years? He came in as a rookie. He didn't take him to the championship. But that following year, I think, was the year that they, you know, started that NBA 3-point competition. So, you know, he won the title that year, and then he also won, you know, the 3-point competition, and so on and so forth, leading into this one right here where he made this iconic pose where he put his finger up before he made the shot, and because he knew it was already going in. I want to let y'all know this right now. At this point in time, Larry Bird may have looked like he didn't have it, but he still had it. And just because he didn't make as many shots as he did the previous years before, that's because Larry Bird probably was just comfortable with the setting. He probably was already like drinking brews, a can of beer, you know, every day, you know, eating steak, lobster, shrimp, crab tails, you know, whatever people ate back in the day that was, you know, high class and expensive. He was already living his best life. So his expectations of what he thought he was going to have to do probably just didn't really matter because he already knew he's the Bird show. So he knew he was going to win. He still knew he was going to win, but it just looked like that, you know. And sometimes you got to make it look like that when people already expect the most out of you. They already expect you to win. You got to make it look like, oh, you might lose. I might lose. I'm not losing. I was leading it on. It's like this. You playing basketball with some younger kids and everything like that. And the younger kid can actually be, you know, a challenge, but not challenging enough for you to lose. So, you know, you playing, you know, you go bucket, he go bucket. Then it hit 7-7, 8-8, go to 10-10, whatever the case may be. Whatever we're going to 11, you know, whatever the case may be, you know, score wise. But then you like, nah, it's time for me to turn it up a little bit, put my game face on, and now you're gonna see that I was really just, you know, letting you keep a little dignity. So in this case right here, I'm gonna say Larry Bird was letting everybody in that competition have a little dignity and to feel like they had a chance of winning. But deep down inside, he knew they didn't have a chance because once he snapped and turned it on just like that, it's over with. So yeah, you know, I've seen this video a few times, and after watching a lot of stories about Larry Bird, I'm coming to the conclusion that in this 3-point competition right here, if it was a necessity like it was the first time to win, he wouldn't have missed no shots. But since he was so laid back and comfortable with the setting and with his environment, you know, he was shooting, playing around a little bit, you know, shooting fast and maybe not, you know, taking, you know, to be honest with you, I'll put it like this. If you look right here at the picture, look at the screen. Larry Bird has a whole varsity jacket on. A whole varsity jacket on. Do you know how uncomfortable it is for you to have to shoot baskets with a varsity jacket on? And this is what I mean when I say the first year he did it, he was in a whole jersey like he was about to go play a whole 4 quarters of basketball. Same way second year. Yeah, he said he was already waiting for the check. It had his name on it and so on and so forth. He knew he was going to get it. But this year right here indirectly, he has a whole varsity jacket on. That means to tell you that he was extremely comfortable in the setting. He knew that he was going to do his thing. He was going to win that 3-point competition no matter what because couldn't nobody shoot better than him. And that's what I'm talking about when I was bringing up all my different analogies, you know, previously till I got this far. Drop some in the comments what y'all think about what I just said. If y'all agree with me or not, I'm curious to know what y'all think about that. But I've always wondered why he had that varsity jacket on that year. And this is why. Now that I've watched enough Larry Bird videos, I know why he has his varsity jacket on. He was comfortable with his setting, and he knew he was top dog. And he didn't really feel like he was going to lose. And he wanted to put on the show, because that's what Larry Bird had did. He put on the show. Straight up. But anyways, if you've been here this long, make sure you like the video, drop some in the comments, and if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. That way you don't miss out no more Larry Bird reactions. Check the playlist out too, y'all. I'm telling you, it's a bunch of Larry Bird reactions on there.
He knew exactly what the score was. He knew that ball was going to win the competition for him, and it's almost like he did it in dramatic fashion just to make it more fun.
He knew it when he let it go and was headed for the winner's circle.
He ain't took off his top yet.
Prime example right there. Danny Ainge just told you he knew that he was going to win it, and then Michael Jordan comes back and say he didn't even take off his top yet. That's all I got to say. I rest my case.
I didn't see when he took off his top.
Larry used to come in the locker rooms. He'd be getting his ankles taped, and he'd say, you know, hey, ball boy, run in and go find the scoring record in this building. You know, he needed those kind of challenges.
He had accomplished every goal. We hadn't lost a game on the trip. And Larry told all of us players and the media too, tomorrow night's the last game of the trip. I'm going to play this one left-handed at least through 3 quarters.
And it was at a time when, McHale was still coming off the bench.
And so Larry scores his 6th point on a left-handed shot.
And I'll never forget it. McHale yells out.
And McHale goes, hey, Jerome, wait till he starts shooting right-handed.
And at the end of 3 quarters, I get 27 points left-handed. Well, left-handed is one thing, but when the game got close, I had to go back to the right one.
He could hold all these things in his head during a game. So he'd have a shooting drill at the old Boston Garden.
4:30 in the afternoon. I was an early guy. I'd set up early. The garden would be dark.
Late in the afternoon by himself, dark garden, come out with an equipment guy and just do the perimeter, shoot for half hour. All you heard was swishing.
If he missed a shot during that thing, he'd say that the Bull Gang set up something wrong with the rim. Otherwise that would have gone in.
I'd get there early, plug in my Stone Age computer right next to the bench. He'd come over, he'd call me Scoop, say, Scoop, what are you working on? I'm like, I'm doing an early story.
Then I'd say, well, I'm doing an early edition newspaper story about your free throw streak.
You are approximating the NBA record for consecutive free throws, so don't miss one tonight or I'll look bad in the paper.
Sure enough, first half, he goes to the line for 2, and the foul line is lined up right where we're sitting if he looks over.
He's at the line. He makes the first.
He looks over and winks at me.
He looks over and winks at me before he makes the second. I mean, guys don't do that today. And he would...
Always thinking about these things. It's like paying off a bet in the middle of a game. He was doing 2 things at once.
Well, you had the bird night.
I had the bird night. Yeah, that was a tough night, man.
Hey, real quick before Doc Rivers tell his story about that tough night with Larry Bird, is that the last guy that was talking said something that just sticks with me. He said guys just don't do that anymore these days. And I did a video on this. I really appreciate if y'all go check that video out. If you don't want to watch the whole video, be sure to just hurry and get up out of there and get back to the reactions. But I want to get off into making more better content, opening my podcast and my reaction channel and making it, basically widening horizon. But he says something about how guys don't do it no more, and I'm gonna be quick with this because I don't want to make this a long video because I might have to cut it in 2. I don't want to be talking y'all heads off. But for the most part, where I'm going with this, people nowadays are more fascinated and are okay with being losers as long as they have a lot of money, and that's all that it is. A lot of NBA players right now are absolutely okay with not caring about being the best or whatever the case may be, doing what they got to do, sacrificing, playing a role for their teams to succeed and have that, crazy dynasty. Like Larry Bird went 40-1 in 1 year, where 40-2, whatever the case may be, because I think they lost one of the playoffs. But, people don't care about that anymore. They don't care about that dynasty anymore. They only care about the paycheck and that aspect of the league. And that's what's kind of ruining the league as it is today. But it's ruining the reason why people even want to go that far and be an NBA player in the first place. And honestly, I know a lot of us probably aren't huge LeBron fans. We still give him his respect. But after LeBron leaves the league, I personally don't see no one else ever coming into the NBA and doing anything that LeBron does, or even trying to chase legendary stats that these greats have done. Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Isaiah Thomas, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, LeBron James, so on and so forth. I think this is the end of it because people are more fascinated with getting the money than actually being successful in the thing that they love to do. That's what made Larry Bird. That's what made Larry Bird Larry Legend. He actually wanted to be the best at basketball because he loved basketball. He didn't care about the money. Cause like we know about Larry Bird, a lot of us know on this channel, he was okay with driving the trash dumpster, the people that pick up the trash on some days out the week. He was okay with doing that and not going to the league. It had to be a coach that came out to convince him to come play basketball for him to even take his talent this far and become so legendary. He was okay with that because it wasn't no malicious ways in his mindset in the way that he wanted to live. I don't know if it's just society. I don't know if society has just changed and now we need money so bad that what we do to get money matters, doesn't matter. But back in these days, those things, that's what I meant to say. I meant matters, because back in the day, those things didn't matter. People didn't care about what you thought of them if they were driving a dumpster, or they didn't care about if you were a teacher. This is what I like to do. I like to teach kids. This is what I like to do. I like to clean my neighborhood up, my community, my city up, make sure there's not trash everywhere. Like a person litter, hey man, pick it up, man, put it in a trash can. This is what I do for a living, sanitation. And then right now, Larry Bird was an entertainer, basketball entertainer, and he did one heck of a job. But yeah, I might cut this video into 2 parts. So be sure to like this video, y'all, so people don't miss out on part 2. We're going to watch a little bit more of it, and we're going to come back and finish the last 10 minutes of the video because I've talked a lot, and I know this is going to be a long video. But I want to get more understanding of what y'all think about, some of the things that I said, because this is my personal opinion. I don't think that the way that the NBA players are moving in this day and age, and when I say moving, I mean what they're doing and how they're coming, what it stands for to them. It's just all about money. It's just all about money. I know some people still want to be good and they want to be the best, but if they gotta work hard, like be in the gym every day, make sure their diet is right, not doing anything, I don't want to say it because I'm on YouTube, but not doing anything in that level of where it's, dealing with a partner or anything like that before a game, that was these are all things that were important that made a person made a person become a better basketball player because, their body was all the way in shape. Basically what I'm saying. Their body was all the way in shape. Their mind was all the way in shape. And I'm absolutely sure these are the things that they practiced back in the day, This is what they practiced back in the day. And I could tell you it's different because back in the day, you had to wear a suit. You know what I mean? You had to wear a suit at least one time out the week. You got to wear a suit if, when you coming in for the pregame, whatever the case may be, for warm-ups and before the game. Nowadays, everybody only worry about fashion. Oh, this is how I look on social media. This is how I look on social media. You already rich. Why does that matter? You already rich. You're popular. You can come in here wearing some Jesus sandals. And I'm only saying this because they brought up Jesus in the last video. Some Jesus sandals. Nobody cares. You're rich. Why do you care? You're rich. But everybody's. I'm not gonna go crazy with this video, y'all. I'm gonna save some of this for the next video. But greed is crazy. Greed is crazy. And let's finish the last 4 minutes of this video. Make sure y'all like the video. Turn your notification bell on. And come back for part 2.
Nobody was guarding Bird, were they?
Well, we were trying.
Let's go back and start it over from where he was, talking about it.
The game. He was doing 2 things at once.
Well, you had the Bird night.
I had the Bird night. That was a tough night, man.
But nobody was guarding Bird, were they?
Well, we were trying.
You were trying to.
But when a guy is literally coming up the court, calling his shots, it's in that game, we're on the free throw line, and he literally says,
"It's off the glass. Who's next? Where do you want this one from?" and he just made one after another, and he just tortured them mentally. That game, he tortured all of them.
I think Bird went by the bench one time too.
He fell in the bench.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, and he called that one. That was the one where he fell in it. He literally said, off the glass into the trainer. And,
No way.
Yeah.
His last shot, he said, in the trainer's lap, coming down the court. He shot this high rainbow. It goes in. Ricky bumps into him and he knocks him on our trainer's lap. So it was exactly what he said.
Antoine Carr and Cliff Levingston got fined by Fratello, I think. For
And Eddie Johnson for celebrating.
Celebrating Bird.
Yeah, it was the best film session. Every time when I see Mike, we still laugh.
God,
it was
so
it was the greatest film session ever because back then, you watched the real game and just went, with a video, and Mike rewound the celebration 20 times.
And they show a shot of our bench. Cliff Livingston and Eddie Johnson are standing up giving each other high five.
I mean, everybody was entertained by this. Even the guys on the Atlanta bench.
They got fined for that, I heard.
Yeah. Watch the reactions on the Atlanta bench. You see Scotty Hastings with them. Yeah. Watch Cliff Levingston over here. I think this is Cliff.
Tell him wouldn't let it go. He just kept rewinding. Showing the guys, you remember they're giving each other high five.
And then somebody falls off the bench.
Yeah,
too.
that was Eddie Johnson.
Yeah.
Eddie Johnson falls off the bench in laughter, and Antoine Carr and Cliff gives each other high five. And our film session was 20 minutes of that. And, and so it was a bad night.
The first game against Larry Bird, it was shocking. And I'm a rookie, I go shake his hand, and he put both hands behind his back. And I'm saying, okay, he's getting his head ready to play. First play of the game, he says, I don't know where they got you guarding me, Holmes. And he shoots a 3. I was pissed. I said, I wasn't mad he hit the 3. But this bitch just called me Holmes.
I knew he was going to say that.
And so it set up for a really interesting game. Because I remember one time I came down and I dunked it on him. He laying on the ground. He fouled me, and I'm pointing. And he said, hey, Rook. I said, what? He said, I like you. He said, you got balls, but I'm still going to get 30 on your ass. He got about 38, so he kind of proved his point. But I had to pay my dues. I wasn't upset about that because, back then, as a rookie, you got to pay your dues. Simple as that.
It was funny, the first time that I played in my rookie year, I guarded Larry Bird, and it took me about 10 minutes to realize I should be probably guarding him instead of staring at him. And he came down, it was funny, he came down one time, and Mark West was the center on our team, and Larry looked at me, and then he looked at Mark, and he said, Mark, I'm going to go down, I'm going to come off the screen, I'm going to catch it right there, I'm going to turn around, I'm going to shoot it in the rookie's face, and then I'm going to run down the floor. And that's exactly what he did. And I'm sitting there, that just happened.
But did he talk to you, or you weren't
He
good
talked
enough?
through me. He never addressed me.
I love that.
Like I wasn't even there.
And did Mark West going,
Mark was like, all right,
okay,
yeah,
all right.
You probably will. Good luck.
And then he did.
He did it.
Well,
There was nothing I could do about it.
He backed up.
On that note, y'all, like I said, I'm going to turn this to a 2-part video. I know we've done a lot of videos on this channel, and if you're new to the channel, if you go to the playlist, you'll see. But for the most part, I'm gonna turn this to a 2-part video because I did a lot more talking about different aspects of the game, and my own personal opinion and my standpoint on what I think is changing about the NBA. It's not even about the NBA; it's about the players. But for the most part, please drop some in the comments about what y'all think about some of the things that I said. Be sure to like the video too as well. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, turn your notification bells on. Check out the channel on the Larry Bird playlist, and you will not regret it. Straight up, you're not going to regret it. Especially some of those stories where this person tried to, trash talk Larry Bird and they regretted it. Because that's, there's a lot of videos like that. But yeah, tell me what you guys think. And it's your boy DtaeNoDinero. I appreciate y'all. Make sure we try to get like 10 likes. We've been doing crazy with the likes. Every video I've posted in the last couple of days have been over 100 likes. And I really appreciate y'all. Y'all don't know how much that means to me. That's why I decided to talk a little bit more on this video. Because of you guys and because of the likes. And I want to see what you guys got to say. If you want me to shh and be quiet, please let me know. That way we can just get the video over with quicker. And then maybe we can get some more video out. But for the most part, I don't want to talk y'all heads off. We've been here for a while. Make sure y'all stay hydrated. Y'all enjoy y'all day. Go take the young ones out to the basketball court and show them some of them Larry Bird post moves and jumpers, whatever y'all do, you know what I mean? Even if y'all on the football court, on the tennis court, you know, I'm pretty sure Larry Bird would have excelled in that too, you know. So just, you know, however you can do it and relate the greatness to the great Larry Legend and any of these other greats that we've watched, you know, just do what you do best, you know, enjoy yourself, enjoy your day. But for the most part, we out, y'all, you know, have a good day. I'll see y'all tomorrow, okay? That's why you got to turn notification bells on so we can see each other tomorrow, okay? Just want to let y'all know that, all right?